TGIF coming off another winning day, a nice 7-3 run. Let's talk some more baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we're back at the end of the week to talk some more MLB. Congrats, you made it to Friday, but we had another winning day yesterday. We will take it 2-1, hitting the only one unit play. Gotta love that 7-3 run, like I just mentioned. We'll go over the recap in just a little bit. But of course, any graphics you see in this video or future videos are from an app called OUTLIER. It is the best betting research tool on the market today. I use this every single flipping day, and I love it. So click the link below in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. All right, let's get into it. And I chose dad joke again. We're going to end the week with a little funny. So here we go. I threw a boomerang a couple of years ago. I now live in constant fear. Yep. In this video, we're going to recap that 2-1 day yesterday, and then we're going to go over the good and bad hitter matchups, and I haven't given this to you in a while, so we're going to head out to the pen. That's right. A little bullpen report, and then I'll give you the pitcher strikeout matchups, the entire pitcher report for the 15-game slate, and of course, we will finish it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. Also, Discord link is below. Completely free to join, and we talk sports every single day and night. So I'm ready to get it rolling, and that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. A nice 2-1 day, and we cash yet another alt team total parlay. Detroit team total over 2.5, cashed in the third inning. Cubs team total over 2.5. That one was sweaty. First and third, one out in the eighth inning. They had 2 runs. Swanson, I believe it was, stole second, and PCA went home right when they threw him out, so that was a beauty. But they had a million chances all game long. Philly team total under 6.5. Again, you're going to notice some of these. If you end up trying to bet it and it's minus 150, minus 160, you could probably alter it a little bit. Philly was just a de-juicer, but I knew I could have gone down to probably 5.5, 4.5. They scored 1. It was Hunter Brown. They had no chance. And then Palante was the added play under 17.5 outs. I doubled up on that Cubs game, and they clutched up. He had a 9-pitch first inning, and then he went 3-ball count on almost everybody after that. It seemed like the Cubs did not chase. It was really impressive to watch, and that's what you get. He only went 5 innings, I believe. So over 8.5, Toronto, Cleveland. What if I told you one of the teams scored 6 and it didn't come close? That's right. 6-0 Blue Jays. The Guardians were awful, but here's the problem. In the third or fourth inning, by that time, both of the best hitters in the game were out. Vlad got hit. He left the game. Jose Ramirez got hit probably for redemption, and he left the game. It just, none of that went how it was supposed to be. Plus, the Guardians offensively are absolute poop. So 2-1 day, 7-3 run. We will take it. Overall record as we're digging out of that hole from the last few weeks. Now down 9.11 units with the entire breakdown of the game bets, pitcher props, hitter props, so on and so on. So that's what we got for the recap. Now let's talk some hitters. All right, we have a full page. That's right, 18 good hitter matchups for you. Not going to go over all of them, but you'll see, I think 4 or 5 Toronto Blue Jays against Brian Bayo. Like Springer there, 8 for 25. Vlad, if he plays, 10 for 24 with 6 extra base hits off of them. And then you go down the list all the way down to Bo Bichette, 5 for 13 there on the left side. And then over there on the right side, you also see Addison Barger, 4 for 8 off Brian Bayo. So they've been hitting the ball well. Other than that, you'll see some other solid hitters here. Xander Bogaerts, 5 for 13 with 1 home run. You see Rhys Hoskins, 5 for 14. Julio Rodriguez, who continues to underperform from what I am expecting. But that's what we got for all the good hitter matchups. Of course, you also see on the right side extra base hits and home runs just to kind of help you out if you guys are looking at bases and things like that. But take a screenshot. That's what we got for the good ones. And now we have a ton of bad hitter matchups. You know, some of you guys are betting under runs, and it's been working out, which is awesome. Any way these can help is all I care about. But we got a lot of big hitters here, especially a lot of Mets. Look at over there on the right side. You'll see 3 of the first 4 are Mets players with McNeil, Francisco Lindor, and Polar Bear Pete Alonso. Alonso's 0 for 12 with 3 Ks. That's right. This is all against Mitch Keller. Nothing spectacular, but Keller's having a pretty decent year. And then you see some Texas Rangers over there. How about Adolis Garcia, 6 for 35 with 13 Ks off of Gilbert. Marcus Semien, 3 for 32 with 6 Ks. That is not good at all. And then you'll see a couple Mariners because why not, right? But that's what we got for all the good and bad hitter matchups. Now let's head out to the pen. All right, some of you guys know we like to do this every few weeks just to kind of update you, let you know what bullpens are pitching well. We're going to give you the top 7 and bottom 7 ERAs in regards to, ERAs in regards to the bullpen, and also a kind of a predictive stat, kind of like expected ERA, xFIP. But I use Sierra for the bullpen, and you'll see down there it's skill interactive earned run average, eliminates factors a pitcher can't control himself. helps predict ERA moving forward. So it kind of tells you, what team is pitching out of their mind or what team's getting unlucky, things like that. But I don't know if you guys know the Pirates have the #1 bullpen in ERA in the last 3 weeks. All this is the last 3 weeks, 2.35 ERA, but they do have a 3.7 Sierra, which means it's coming back down to earth a little bit. But the Astros, probably the best bullpen on this page right now because a 2.35 ERA, a 2.35 Sierra, they are pitching lights out in the last 3 weeks. And then you see Orioles, Rangers, Mariners, Cubs, and Yankees round out the top 7 there. You'll see the Cubs, they're not a team that I really trust in the bullpen, but lately they've been better. 3.85 Sierra, though, which is the highest of the top 7. And then you go over to bottom 7 ERAs. Congrats to the A's. They are not the worst bullpen in the last 3 weeks. That's right, just 24th with a 4 Sierra. And then you go down D-backs, no surprise. How about the Dodgers? A 5.28 ERA in the bullpen, 4.42 Sierra. Has not been pretty. Along with the Mets, 5.45 ERA. Again, some of these teams you'll realize, oh, maybe that's one of the reasons why they're in a slump, like the Mets. And how about the dead last bullpen? And this is the bullpen that everyone really trusts and really likes. But last 3 weeks, the Twins, 7.95 ERA with a 4.22 Sierra, which tells you they're not going to have around an 8 ERA for very long. But Twins and Mets are two teams that have been struggling lately, and part of that is their bullpen, some of it's offense and things like that. But you got the Nationals and Rockies there as well. That's no surprise at all. But again, hopefully this helps. Just one more piece of info to kind of help you make your bets each day. So that's what we got for the pen. Now let's talk some strikeouts. All right, we have 2 good pitcher strikeout matchups for you today, and we start out with Pepe Le Pew. That's right, Ryan Pepio at the Baltimore Orioles. Oreos, those are good too, though. 5th highest K rate versus righties in the last 3 weeks, 25.3%. Double stuff, by the way, if you're going to do it. Pepio, 91 Ks in 94.2 innings this season. Pepio has 7+ Ks in 4 straight starts and 35 Ks in his last 24.2 innings. So he's really been turning up that swing and miss stuff. Lower K rate on the road, though, so something to keep an eye on. 21.6, which is around average compared to at home at 25.3. He will be in Baltimore. Much higher K rate versus lefties. And I give you this stat because maybe a guy's facing a whole lineup of lefties. Like the Nationals and the Tigers, teams like that have like 6, 7 lefties. But just kind of another piece of info to help you out. But compared to righties, only 18.6%. It's pretty low. He did have a season high 11 Ks in 8 innings versus Baltimore just 2 starts ago. Absolutely dominated them. The next one, Sonny Gray at the Guardians. Cleveland, 4th highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, 25.5%. Again, last year, if you knew the Guardians, they rarely struck out. That's not the case this year. Gray, 90 Ks in 84.2 innings. His K rate is down a little bit lately. He has 4 to 5 Ks in 4 of his last 5. So it's not like he's actually absolutely been crushing it in regards to missing bats and all that. But he does have the exact same K rate, 25.9 at home and on the road. So there's no difference there. Much higher K rate versus lefties at 28.9 compared to 22.3 versus righties. So that's what we got for the 2 best pitcher strikeout matchups. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here are the first 8 matchups of the day. And again, this is where I like to give you all the info. I know I don't go through every single game, but this is kind of part of it just to help you out. Start your day with, all the pitching matchups and see where you want to go from there. But we start with David Peterson versus Mitch Keller. Obviously, both been pretty decent this year. David Peterson struggling a little bit more the last 2 starts. He's given up 11 hits and 8 earned runs with 6 walks over the last 11 innings. In his earlier this year against Pittsburgh, though, 6 innings, 2 earned runs with 3 walks when he faced them. Mitch Keller giving up 3 or less earned runs now in 8 of the last 9 starts. He faced the Mets on May 13th, gave up 2 earned runs in 7 innings, so pitched pretty well. And then Ryan Pepio versus Sugano. Sugar. I just like sugar. Pepio, we given up 3 or less earned runs in 15 of 16 starts. That is the definition of keeping your team in the game every single time you take them out. And then Sugano for the Orioles, giving up exactly 3 earned runs in 4 of his last 5. In June, though, he's been getting hit up a little bit, giving up 26 hits in 19.2 innings. Obviously, one of the lowest K rates in the major leagues for all starters. Does not miss many bats. And then Mitch Spence versus Warren. Spence, in his 4 starts, has 13 Ks in 19.2 innings. He got hit up by Cleveland last start for 4 earned runs on 8 hits. And then Will Warren, a bit up and down the last 5 starts if you look at his numbers. But, his 29.4% K rate is not too shabby at all. And again, you'll see home runs per 9 on the right. Those 2 guys don't give up a ton of home runs, as you can see by the averages on the bottom. But Dylan Cease versus Nick Martinez. Cease, 2 of the last 3 have been pretty good starts. He did get crushed by the Dodgers in one of them, but, he faced the Dodgers like back-to-back starts. Swing and miss stuff, obviously still there, near 30%. Nick Martinez used to be a starter, now in the bullpen, so I believe he's just going to be a bullpen opener here, maybe throw like 2 innings. And then Sonny Gray, like we already talked about, facing Luis Ortiz. Gray's been steady outside of a few blow-up starts on the road, and then you go Luis Ortiz, 2-hit shutout over 6 innings last start versus the A's, but 10 combined earned runs given up in the 2 starts prior to the Mariners and the Reds. So he is a guy who's been all over the place. He could strike out 10, or he could walk 10. That's not really that true, but you know what I mean. Jose Barrios versus Brian Bayo. Barrios, 4 really good starts, and 4 of his last 5 gave up 1 or less earned run in those 4. He did get blown up by Philly in the other one, but having a pretty good year. Not missing a ton of bats, but 3.5 ERA, 4 expected ERA, kind of what you need there in Toronto. And then Brian Bayo somehow managed a couple good starts in a row with 14 Ks in his last 13 innings. He's not usually a guy who strikes out a lot. His command has been a little bit better lately. He's a pitcher I struggle to trust. I'll just say that. And then right now, no pitcher listed for the Twinkies going up against Gibson Long of the Detroit Tigers. Gibson Long went deeper last start at 6.1 innings, but gave up 4 earned runs on 6 hits to the Rays in Tampa. Not a guy who misses many bats as well. And then Mick Abel, he is struggling, guys. This rookie struggling to keep the ball in the park. He has the highest home runs per 9 on the slate today. If you're looking for some bombs, right there, 2.7 home runs per 9. He has given up 7 bombs in 23.1 innings. Chicks dig the long ball. Well, not when you're a pitcher. And then Bryce Elder, he's flat out not very good in my opinion. He's given up 9 earned runs and 17 hits in his last 8.2 innings, and then had one random awesome start versus the Giants. But other than that, those are 2 guys that can get hit up a little bit. You see the hits per 9 as well, and Elder 1.5 home runs per 9 as well. So we could see some home runs in Atlanta. But either way, that's page 1. Take a screenshot now. Let's check out page 2 for the final 7 matchups. Atlanta Roop versus Aaron Savali. Roop struggled last start, or actually, sorry, bounced back last start versus a struggling Red Sox offense. He had 6 shutout innings, 9 earned runs in the 2 prior starts. And Savali, he made us lose a bet. I'm not very happy with him, but still gave up 5 earned runs and 9 hits in his last start versus the Blue Jays. Still went over his outs, just saying. But Logan Gilbert versus Eovaldi, one of the best pitching matchups, probably the best pitching matchup on the slate today. Logan Gilbert's had 2 starts since his return from the IL, gave up 2 and 4 earned runs. But again, keep in mind, 4 was in Wrigley when the game total was like 12 because there was massive wind blowing out. And when you're in Wrigley with good weather and massive wind blowing out, it is really hard to limit runs. Still has had 16 Ks in 10 innings since his return from the IL. And then Eovaldi, this will be his first start in 1 month. He had been one of the best starting pitchers in the league before that. And we're talking 1 or less earned runs given up in 7 straight starts. We'll see what he comes back like, but that guy has been an absolute beast. And then Horton versus Walter. What a pitching matchup. Horton got rocked by Seattle in his last start, but again, that was winds blowing out in Wrigley. And then Walter, he was a guy we actually kind of backed for an under. But what did he do? He gave up 1,000,000 runs to the Angels. Absolutely struggled. 7 earned runs and 9 hits in that one. But other than that, it's been pretty good this year. And then Carrot Top versus Noah Cameron. Carrot Top giving up 13 earned runs in 23 innings in June. He also has 12 walks in June already. He's been up and down. He's been okay, I guess, this year. I was expecting, a higher K rate in the 25, 26% range. But going up against Noah Cameron, if you guys remember this rookie, 5 straight starts of 6+ innings. He's gone less than 6 innings now in 3 straight starts. Still only giving up 2 or less earned runs in 7 of his 8, though. He is doing a great job for the Royals. And then TBD for Colorado going up against Jose Quintana of the Milwaukee Brewers. Somehow Quintana continues to limit runs. It feels like he's done this like 3 years in a row now. He's an old veteran who doesn't miss a lot of bats. You see a 15.5% K rate. He has given up 1 or less earned run in 7 of 10 starts this season. How, I don't know. He has 36 strikeouts in 54.1 innings. That's not good, but either way, he's getting the job done. Jake Irvin versus Jose Soriano in LA. Irvin has a 5.06 ERA in June so far. Soriano been elite at limiting home runs. How about just 3 home runs allowed in 93 innings? We just talked about a guy who allowed 7 home runs in like 20-something innings this year. How about Soriano with 3 in 93? You know why? He's the best ground ball pitcher in the entire major leagues. We're talking 70% ground ball, 100th percentile. Yuri Perez versus Merrill Kelly finishes us off. And Perez for the Marlins made 3 straight starts this season, or 3 starts overall this year after he had an injury. 89 pitches in his last start, so it's stretched out a little bit more. He does have 7 walks with 11 Ks so far. He has not gone more than 4.2 innings. And then Merrill Kelly, he's been pretty consistent this year, to be honest with you. Much better than Zach Allen, I'll tell you that. But he does have 6 to 8 Ks in 8 of his last 9 starts. So he sits right there in that 6 to 8 Ks almost every time he goes out. But yeah, that's what we got for the entire pitcher report, all 15 matchups and all the research. Now it's time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Texas where the Rangers host the Seattle Mariners. Rangers on the money line minus 110. Mariners on the money line minus 110 with a total of 7.5 runs. Give me the under 4 runs in the first 5 innings at minus 125 on bet 365. This is a half to play from here. So if you can only get 3.5, I don't mind that either. But I also like the full game under 7.5. Maybe a pivot to that. But I really do. I don't see us getting 5 runs here in the first 5 in this matchup. But we saw this exact same matchup between Logan Gilbert and Nathan Eovaldi on April 13th. The final score in that game, 3-1. Now, we have a great starting pitching matchup, probably the best one on the slate with the Gilbert versus Eovaldi. So let's talk Gilbert first. This is going to be his third start since return from the IL, like we talked about earlier. I don't even really count his last start. Again, the worst pitching conditions you can have in Wrigley Field. The game total was like 12 or 13. It was his second start back. But he knocked off some rust in these first 2 starts, and by doing it, he still had 16 strikeouts. He looked solid. He gave up 3 hits in 5 innings in his first start back. This man, if you don't know, has elite strikeout to walk ratio, 60 Ks and 7 walks this year. It's insane. He is one of the best starting pitchers in this league. He already faced the Rangers, like I said, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks in 5 innings on April 13th. Not just that, the Rangers bats struggle against him. More on that in just a little bit. But also, the under 4 runs in the first 5 innings is 5-2-1 in Logan Gilbert start. So just something to keep in mind. Now, Nathan Eovaldi, this is the risk here. This will be his first start in a month. So that's the one risk. I'm going to throw it out there again. That's why it's a half unit play. No rehab starts. I didn't think he needed it. He threw a 50-pitch, 3-inning live session. I expect him to be good for 60-plus pitches here, not innings. That would be a lot. But he has been so good this year. Like I said earlier, he gave up 1 or less earned run in 7 straight starts. It's absolutely insane. He faced Gilbert in this Mariners offense, like I said, on April 13th. Pitched 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs. Now, Eovaldi at home this year, how about a 1.75 ERA, a 191 average against, and a low 298 slugging? He has only given up 4 home runs in 69.1 innings. He is an absolute elite ground ball pitcher. The under 4 runs in the first 5 is 8-3-1 in Eovaldi starts this year as well. So obviously, as you can tell, the majority of Gilbert and Eovaldi starts go under the first 5 innings for the 4-run total. So let's talk offenses now. My Seattle Mariners. Definitely a better offense on the road, but the numbers are skewed a little bit how good they have been because, again, they played in Wrigley Field and they scored a bazillion runs with the wind blowing out. Also had great hitting conditions in Game 1 in Minnesota and put up a lot of runs. They just scored 1 total run in the last 2 games. They are very capable of doing that. And against the Eovaldi and good pitchers, they can do that as well, obviously. But Rangers, better lately. But like I mentioned earlier, they struggle versus Gilbert. Seager hitting decent, right around 300 against them. Other than that, Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien, and Josh Smith, 3 of the top 5 in the order, are combined 11 for 81 with 20 strikeouts. That is massively struggling against his pitchers. So, to me, this is all about the 2 starting pitchers. If they both weren't coming off the IL, I might even throw a full unit, or maybe we don't get this 4-run line. But it's hard to see 5 runs being scored here in the first 5 innings unless Nathan Eovaldi comes out, after a month off and just looks absolutely awful. If you take under the full game, by the way, both these bullpens are rested. And as you can see in the last 3 weeks that we showed earlier today, both are top 5 in bullpen ERA the last 3 weeks also. So just want to let you know on that. But give me the under 4 runs in the first 5 innings as my first best bet. All right, this next one takes us out to Baltimore, Maryland, where the Orioles host the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays on the money line minus 118. Orioles money line plus 100 with a total of 9 runs. I'm keeping it simple. I'm going with the hotter team. Give me the Rays on the money line, minus 118 on FanDuel for a half unit. I'm not really understanding this line. Rays are one of the hotter teams in the league right now, 7-3 in the last 10. But let's talk starting pitcher matchup. Ryan Pepio versus Tomoyuki Sugano. That's the first time I said his first name, I think. But Pepio, I mentioned it earlier. He's been solid. Massive swing and miss stuff lately. 8, 9, 11, and 7 Ks in his last 4 starts. Giving up 2 or less earned runs in 5 of his last 6. He hasn't given up more than 5 hits since May 19th. And he already mowed down this Orioles team's 2 starts ago. 8 innings, 11 Ks, and 1 earned run allowed. He's been elite versus lefties, which is why I love this matchup. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Sugano, he's the opposite. Does not miss many bats. 4.58 ERA in June with a huge 3.18 average against. Also a 3.92 ERA at home. He will pitch to contact. He has given up 3+ earned runs in 3 straight home games. Now let's talk Orioles or offenses. This is a tough matchup for the Orioles, like I just mentioned, as we just saw a week ago versus Pepio. But their best hitters in this lineup are lefties: Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, Ryan O'Hearn, Colton Cowser, and Pepio absolutely owns lefties, like we just talked about. Orioles overall versus righties last 3 weeks, 21st WRC plus, 28th in batting average. Rays last 3 weeks versus righties. How about second highest WRC plus, fourth highest slugging, the highest batting average in the majors at 289. 289. Rays are averaging almost 6 runs per game in the last 10, averaging 5 runs per game in their last 10 road games as well. So they're hitting home or away. And then bullpens, Orioles are fully rested. Rays should be pretty rested outside. Maybe Fairbanks. He's thrown 2 straight days, but there's only 20 total pitches. So either way, getting the much better team, the much better starting pitcher, the much hotter offense at almost a pick 'em. Absolutely love that Pepio owns lefties as well. So give me the Rays on the money line as my second best bet. All right, this third and final bet on the video is an alternate team total parlay. It's been our bread and butter lately. Let's get another winner. Minus 116 on DraftKings. I'm going to do a half unit for it today. Give me the Reds team total over 2.5, the Red Sox team total under 6.5, and the D-backs team total over 1.5, the D-juicer to finish it. But let's start with the Reds team total over 2.5. Their line is 4.5. I'm taking it down a couple runs. The weather, 95 degrees with slight wind blowing out, and it's already a great hitting park there in Cincinnati. So the Reds offense hitting the ball really well at home lately. Scored 3+ runs in 8 of the last 10 home games, averaging 5 runs per game in the last 10 at home. Now, versus righties at home in the last 10, they've actually scored 4+ runs in 9 of those 10, averaging almost 6 runs per game versus righties at home in the last 10. Last 3 weeks overall versus righties, 7th highest WRC plus and 5th highest slugging. This team, which can be streaky, is hitting the ball well. They're facing Dylan Cease. He's been hit and miss, but struggles more on the road. How about a huge 6.26 ERA and a 1.34 WHIP? He has given up 3+ earned runs in 4 straight road games. Just gave up 6 to the Dodgers. I like the Reds to score 3+ runs here. Second one, Red Sox team total under 6.5. This one is juiced at under 4.5. I'm taking it all the way up. If you do not know, the Red Sox offense has been absolutely awful without Devers, averaging 3.11 runs per game without him in the last 9 games. Last 3 weeks overall versus righties, dead last WRC plus. The worst offense in the entire major leagues. 5th lowest slugging, lowest batting average at 196. They have now scored 3 or fewer runs in 6 of 9 games since that trade. They've scored 6 or fewer runs, which is all I care about, in 8 of the 9 games since that Devers trade. Now they face Jose Barrios, who's a guy I've never been that high on, but he's pitching better lately. He's 1 or less earned run allowed in 4 of the last 5, just 1 bad start versus Philly. He's actually allowed 4 or fewer hits in 5 of the last 6 games. He faced the Red Sox early this season when they were actually better offensively. He still went 6.2 innings, gave up 2 earned runs with 8 Ks. I think he and this better Jays bullpen can hold them to 6 or fewer runs. Should not be that difficult. But third one, by the way, the weather is not great hitting conditions in Fenway either. But the third one, D-backs over 1.5. They better score 2 runs, or I will be very upset. This is the de-juicing part of the program. D-backs better get 2 runs because it's Yuri Perez. D-backs have scored 2+ runs in 71 of 80 games this year, averaging over 5 runs per game this season. But Perez struggles with his command, like we talked about. 7 walks and 11.2 innings. He's only made 3 starts this year. He's given up 4, 1, and 3 earned runs in those starts. Never gone 5 innings yet this season. Between Perez and then this Marlins bullpen, I mean, if the D-backs don't score 2 more, I don't know what else to tell you. They have a really good offense. Obviously, they should have 2 runs probably by the 3rd or 4th inning at the latest. But give me the Reds team total over 2.5, Red Sox under 6.5, and D-backs over 1.5. That is my alt team total parlay and my third and final best bet on the video. Before we get out of here, let's check out that recap. All right, there it is. The 3 best bets so far. The under 4 runs in the first 5 innings, Mariners and Rangers. The Rays on the money line, and then the alternate team total parlay. Yet again, Reds over 2.5, Red Sox under 6.5, and the D-backs over 1.5 at minus 116. Let's get some winners. Let's stay hot. 7-3 in the last 10. Hopefully we can keep that rolling into the weekend. Again, thank you for all the support this week. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.